Hey, what is going on, you guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how to make an interactive monthly budget tracker in Google Sheets. But before I show you how to make this tracker, I'm going to quickly show you how it works. So we can see we have two tabs here. We have a transactions tab and a monthly total tab. All of our transactions are going to roll into our monthly total tab, where we can see our spending by category, the total amount spent, and our amount budgeted, and then we can see the difference between the two, which is all going to roll into the amount over or under budget right here. And then we can see our total income and our total expenses and the amount left we have to invest at the end of the month. And you can see here we just have a visual where we can see where most of our spending is going into. So housing is taking up about 48% in this example, utilities 19.4%, and some other metrics as well. So let's say that on December 31st, I went to the movies with my family. I would come here and type out the date, and I will go here and I will select entertainment, and then I can just type out movies right here. And let's say that I spent about $20 at the movie. When I put this in, you're gonna see our entertainment tab here change. So I'll hit enter here, and we can see our entertainment total amount spent has gone up, and we are over budget for the month by $22. Our total expense has gone up, and our amount left to invest has gone up as well, and our chart has automatically updated. So if you'd like to be able to download this spreadsheet, then you can head over to my Patreon page at the link in the description. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the tutorial. Okay, so we are ready to begin our budget, and the first thing we'll need to do is we need to come up here to the top and title this spreadsheet. And I'm just gonna go ahead and title it Monthly Budget Tracker and hit enter. And the first thing we'll need to build out is our transactions tab. So if we come right here, we are going to highlight rows A through D and 2 and 3, and we're going to want to merge these cells here. And if we come here, we can give it an outer border as well. And let's go ahead and insert our text. So we want to make this the transactions tab. So we'll type out transactions, and let's go ahead and increase this font size to about 18. Okay, and if we click on it again, we can come right here and we can center this text. We're going to want most of the text on this spreadsheet to be centered. It just will make it look nicer. If we come below here, we have 4 categories under our transactions. We need a date category. We're going to need a category called category. And then we need a description. And then we need to know the amount. And let's go ahead and highlight these as well. We'll come up to borders, and we are going to select all borders on this one. And so let's go ahead and make our transactions tab go down about 50 rows. So what we're going to do is we'll highlight starting on our transactions right here, and we'll scroll down to about 50, and we will give it outer borders. And if you feel like you're going to have more transactions than 50 in a month, then I suggest going a little bit farther, maybe 60 or 70. And so let's scroll back up. So we can see we start to have our transactions coming together. Now let's come over to the right and we can start building out our monthly total. So we'll start right here in column G, and we will go ahead and highlight rows G through J and 2 through 3 again. And we'll do the same thing we just did with transactions. We'll merge this cell and we will give it an outer border. And let's go ahead and insert our text and type out monthly total. And we will increase our font size, and we can go ahead and center this text as well. And we are going to want to put a few categories below this as well. So we need to know what category we spent in. We need to know the total amount we spent in that category. We need to know how much we budgeted for that category. And then we need to know the difference between the two. So I'm just going to title this one remaining. And we can see here amount budgeted is a little bit large for this cell, so let's go ahead and increase the cell size on this one. And we can come here, select this row, and we can center the text for all of these as well. And let's go ahead and give this all borders as well. So now we want to come back to our category tab, and we want to list out all the categories that we will be spending in. So I'm just going to make some example categories. So we're going to have an income category where we will track all of the income we make over the month. We'll have a housing category. We will have a groceries And I'll combine groceries and gas. So I'll have groceries and gas listed here. We'll have an entertainment tab. We can have a tab for eating out as well. And we will probably need a medical tab. We'll say utilities. And we'll have a miscellaneous tab as well. And if you think there's any other categories that you'll be spending in, then you can go ahead and add them under your category, but I'm just going to put anything that's out of the ordinary under my miscellaneous tab. So let's go ahead and come here, and we will go ahead and give this borders as well. And if we come under here, we need something that will total all of our spending and our income. So if we come down below right here, let's go ahead and merge this cell and give it an outer border. And I want this to be the amount over or under budget. And we'll come here and we will make an area where we can have that listed. And now we need to do what's called a data validation on our category in our transactions area. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and click right here on the first row under our category tab in transactions. And we are going to go to data, and if we come down here near the end, we can see where it says data validation. We are going to click on this, and you're going to have this screen come up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move this down, and we're going to click right here where it says to enter a range or formula. And what we're going to do is we're going to come here and highlight everything in our category under our monthly total. So I'm just going to select these cells here, and then I'm going to click OK. And when I come here and click save, we can see we now have a little arrow standing under our first row in our category tab. If we click on this, we can see that all of our categories in our monthly total are listed now under our transactions tab. So let's go ahead and grab this right here and drag it all the way down to the bottom of our transactions. And we can see we now have our arrow all the way down. So let's go ahead and start listing some sample transactions. So let's say on January 1st of 2021, I received a paycheck. So it'll go under our income category, and for description, maybe I'll just say paycheck, and let's say it was for $3,200. So that is what an example of our transactions will look like. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and jump forward and list some more sample transactions for the sake of this tutorial. Okay, so I have listed some sample transactions here, and now we're ready to start listing our totals for each category under our monthly total. And to do this, we are going to use one formula that's just a little bit more advanced, and it's called the Sumif formula. And it's a very useful formula, and I'm going to show you how it works right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to this cell right here and put in an equal sign and type in Sumif, and then do an open parentheses. And we want to sum anything that is under the income category. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to our transactions and highlight this entire column. And we are going to do a comma, and we want anything that is listed as income in this category column to be added together. So we're going to come over here and select income, and we're going to do another column, and then we're going to highlight our entire amount column. And we'll close this parentheses and hit enter. So we can see now that our total amount of income for the month was $3,400. And the great thing about this formula is this is an interactive formula. So if I take this here and drag it all the way down, we now have the totals for each category. So now that we have our monthly totals, let's go ahead and list our amount budgeted. And this will be different for all of us, so really just put whatever you think you need to budget for each of these categories. So for income, let's say I budgeted $3,500. Housing, we'll say $850. Groceries and gas, maybe I budgeted $200. Entertainment, let's say I budgeted about $65. Eating out, we'll say I budgeted $60. Medical, maybe $85. Utilities, $100. And miscellaneous, $50. So now we have our amount budgeted, and we want to know the amount we have left over, and this will tell us whether we are under or over budget. So for our income, all we're going to do is equals and take our total minus our amount budgeted. And we can see here that I was a little under budget for income. I needed to make about $100 more in order to meet my amount budgeted for income. For the rest of these are expense items. So what we're going to do is we're going to do equals, and we're going to take the amount budgeted and then subtract that by our total and hit enter. And we can now take this and drag it down through our other expenses, and we can see the difference and what items we are over or under budget on. Now let's come down here and list the amount we are over or under budget. So all we're going to do is do equals, and we are going to sum all the values above us in this column. And we'll close this parentheses and hit enter, and we can see for the month we are $111.25 over budget. So now let's come down here, and I want to have an area where I list my total income and my total expenses. So I'll type out total income right here and hit enter. And below this is where we can list our total income. So for this, all I'm going to do is equal, and I'm going to come up here and make this equal to this cell right here and hit enter. So let's go ahead and highlight this and give these borders as well. And I'm going to come over here and do the exact same thing except for expenses now. So we'll type out expenses, and we'll come here and merge these cells as well. And for our expenses, what we are going to do is we're going to do equals, and then we are going to highlight all of our expenses right here. Excuse me, we need to have the sum formula first and then highlight our expenses. And we will close that parentheses and hit enter. Now we can see what our total expenses were for the month. So let's go ahead and highlight this and give this outer borders as well. So one of the last things that I would want to see is the amount I have left over to invest. And all that would be is our total income minus our expenses. So let's come below this, and we will make an area for that. So let's go ahead and merge these cells here, and I'll just title it amount left to invest. And we'll come right here below it, and we'll merge these cells, and we'll make a formula. We'll just do our total income minus our expenses and hit enter. And we can see we have almost $2,000 left to invest for the month. So let's highlight this and give this borders as well. So now I have all the tracking that I need, but I want to add a visualization to go along with this. And I want to track all of my expenses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all of my expense categories along with their total expense. And if we come up here to insert, you'll see the option to click on chart right here. So let's click on chart. And we can see it comes up as a bar chart. Some of you may want to use a bar chart, but I actually want to use a pie chart for this scenario. So I'm going to click on pie chart right here, and we can quickly see at a glance what expenses are taking up the most of our income and what percent it's taking up as well. So we can see housing is by far our biggest expense, and then we have our groceries and gas and our other expenses as well. So let's go ahead and resize this chart a little bit, and we will bring it down here and kind of line it up with our other categories. And the next thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and highlight this entire page, and let's go ahead and center the text on all of this. And that's going to make it look a lot cleaner. And now let's go ahead and remove these borders right here. So we'll have to come up here and fix this one. So now we're very close to finishing our budget. There's just a couple more things that I want to add to the spreadsheet. And one of those things is I want to add conditional formatting to our remaining column here. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight these cells here, and we're going to go up to format. And if we come down here near the bottom, you'll see conditional formatting. We're going to click on this column. And what we want to do is we want anything that is greater than 0 to show up as green text. So we can see it's currently highlighting the whole cell. We want to switch this to the text showing up green. So we'll make the text green, and we will make our cell white. And let's go ahead and make this a color that'll stick out just a little bit more. Okay, and now let's add another rule. And we want to say anything that is less than 0, we want to show up red. And we want the text to show up red. So we'll come here and click on this. and click on red and click on done. So now we can quickly see at a glance, based off the colors, which of our categories we've overspent or we have underspent for the month. So now I'm just going to add some finishing touches to this spreadsheet. So for example, maybe I want to center this text vertically. One of the things we're going to want to do is we want to make all of our dollars show up as a dollar amount on our sheet. So we can highlight this and click on the dollar sign up here. Maybe something that we want to do is bold this text for our headers. And then of course we want to go ahead and color everything in as well. So I'm going to go ahead and jump forward and color everything in. So this is what our finished monthly budget tracker looks like. You can see I've colored everything in, bolded some text, and our chart is colored in as well. So let's go ahead and place an example transaction to make sure everything is working properly. So let's say that on January 31st, I ate out at Chick-fil-A. So we can see eating out is currently at $69 and we're $9 over budget. So let's come here and place a transaction and make sure it is working correctly. So we'll come here to our category and we will select eating out. In our description, we will put Chick-fil-A. And let's say Chick-fil-A cost us $10. So when I hit enter, we can see our total spent changed, our amount remaining / over budget changed, our total expenses changed, amount left to invest changed, and our chart changed accordingly as well. So our budget is officially complete. Everything seems to be working properly. And let's say that now that our budget for January is complete, we now want to start one for February. All we would have to do is come down here to this tab. If we double click, we see we can duplicate this tab. So let's click on duplicate. And all we need to do now is we'll just highlight these here and click delete. And now we have a brand new budget ready for February. And what we can do is we can come down here and we can rename this and make this a February budget. And we can do the same for our transactions tab here. We'll just rename this to January. And you can see that can be done for each month of the year. I hope this tutorial was a huge help to you guys. If you want to have the ability to download this spreadsheet, then you can head to my Patreon page at the link in the description. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching the video, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.